I poisoned their wedding cake after the affair. The words echoed in my mind, a dark mantra, as I stared at the pristine white confection. It was a 3-tiered masterpiece, adorned with delicate sugar flowers that mocked the ugliness of the situation. My hands, surprisingly steady, held the small vial. Just a few drops, that's all it would take. My name is Clara, and for 10 years, David was my world. We built a life together, brick by brick, laugh by laugh. We weren't married, but we had something more profound, or so I thought. We had promises whispered in the dark, a shared future sketched out on countless napkins in our favorite diner. He was my rock, my partner, my everything. Then came Emily, his new, bright-eyed colleague. At first, it was innocent. Late nights at the office, business trips. I trusted him. Why wouldn't I? He'd look me in the eyes and say, "It's just work, Clara. You know you're the only one for me." I believed him because I needed to. Because the alternative was a chasm I couldn't bear to look into. The truth, when it came, wasn't a sudden explosion, but a slow, suffocating leak. A text message I wasn't meant to see, a lipstick stain on his collar that wasn't my shade, the scent of a perfume that wasn't mine clinging to his shirt. Each discovery was a small cut, bleeding me dry of trust and love. The final blow came on our 10th anniversary. I'd planned a surprise trip. He told me he had a last-minute business conference he couldn't miss. I found out later that conference was a romantic getaway with Emily. A friend sent me a picture, them on a beach, his arm around her, the same smile he used to give only to me. That night, I packed his bags. When he came home, expecting my forgiveness, he found his belongings on the porch. He didn't even fight for me. He just took his bags and walked away, straight into her arms. 6 months later, the wedding invitation arrived. A cruel, cream-colored card announcing the union of David and Emily. It felt like a final twist of the knife. They were stealing my future, my happiness, and flaunting it in my face. That's when the darkness started to creep in. I saw their smiling faces, and all I could feel was a cold, simmering rage. I deserved justice. I deserved to see them suffer as I had suffered. I'm a baker, a good one. My cakes were once the centerpiece of happy occasions. So when I heard they were looking for a baker for their wedding, an idea, twisted and terrible, took root. Using a different name, I submitted a portfolio. My work was good enough, my prices competitive enough, that they hired me. They had no idea who was crafting the symbol of their new life. As I mixed the batter, I remembered all the times David had told me he loved my baking. "It tastes like home," he used to say. Now, this cake would taste like the end. I obtained the poison easily enough. It was colorless, odorless, and fast-acting, a ghost in the frosting. The night before the wedding, I stood in my kitchen, the finished cake gleaming under the fluorescent lights. The vial in my hand felt heavier than lead. This was it, the point of no return. I uncapped it, the silence of the room deafening. My reflection stared back at me from the smooth surface of the white fondant. My eyes were hollow, my face a mask of grief and fury. This wasn't me. This vengeful spectre wasn't the woman who had loved David with her whole heart. I thought about the aftermath, the sirens, the panic, the lives ruined, not just theirs, but mine, prison. Was this what justice looked like? Destroying myself to destroy them. My hand started to shake, and the vial slipped, not onto the cake, but clattering onto the floor. I sank down, my back against the cupboards, and finally let out the sobs I had been holding in for months. I wasn't a monster. I was just a woman whose heart had been shattered into a million pieces. The next morning, I delivered the cake. It was perfect, beautiful, and completely harmless. I didn't stay for the reception. I didn't need to, as I drove away. I saw David standing outside the venue, looking dapper in his tuxedo. He caught my eye for a fleeting second. There was no recognition, just a blank stare, and in that moment I realized the ultimate revenge wasn't poison. It was my absence, it was the fact that he was marrying someone else, and I was free. I drove until the city was a distant glimmer in my rearview mirror. I went to the diner where we'd sketched our failed future. I ordered a coffee and a slice of pie. As I took the first bite, I didn't taste bitterness or revenge. I tasted a new beginning. I tasted freedom. The real justice wasn't in hurting him. It was in healing myself. It was in taking back my life, my passion for baking, and my future. He could have his perfect wedding and his new wife. He could have the life he stole. Because I was building a new one, from scratch, and this time the recipe was all my own. My phone buzzed. It was a message from a friend, thinking of you today. You deserve all the happiness in the world. I smiled, a real smile. For the first time in a long time, she was right, and I was finally ready to find it.